Hey, so good
Hello.
afternoon. Good hi, Tony. Uh, Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you may be. If you may be choosing to watch or listen to this, I'm Patrick. I publish Tech and Nonsense on Substack. Uh, write about AI and cybersecurity, crossovers between them, and a few other things in the nonsense category. My guest again, back again, which is awesome, is Tony Nelson, who is a former work colleague and a good friend. And over to you, Tony. You can introduce yourself further, or you
Yep.
can walk us through today's quite lovely topic.
Well, hello. I'm Tony, and today's topic is truly the AI and cybersecurity, um, and how to use AI uh, along with your cybersecurity job slash career. So, what I'm hoping to do today, Patrick, is let's kind of go through the AI tools that you use, and what I'd like to accomplish since it's the end of the year. I'm sure a lot of you folks that actually work in cybersecurity are getting your emails and notifications for the wrap up summaries, the year in cyber. So let's see if we can kind of create our own year end wrap up, meaning let's look at the events, cyber events that may have happened throughout the year, breaches, threat vectors, attacks, frauds, things like that. And also, let's do a projection into 2025 of what might be upcoming along the threat landscape, what things to look out for next year. And let's see if we can kind of put together maybe an executive summary with both of those topics, and with a focus on, let's do maybe the financial industry.
Okay,
So,
great.
so yeah, so let's kind of look at banks and investments, things like that, since uh, since that's on folks' minds.
Sounds great. So we did cheat a little
Yeah.
before starting the recording, and we spoke about a couple tools we will probably use here, or at least try to use and hope for some success. We will use a tool called Perplexity, which the owners of it describe it as an answers engine. They don't directly say it's a search engine, although many people do sort of frame it as a competitor, competitor to Google. Um, so we're thinking of using Perplexity for the research element of what Tony just described, and then switching over to maybe a combination of ChatGPT and Claude
Mhm.
for a little bit of brainstorming on how we craft a report from the research that Perplexity gives to us. So we will.
And also, let me say, Patrick, I am not the best prompt writer. Um, and so, if anybody's watching this one, as we kind of go through and you uh, hear and see us kind of work our way through these tools, if you want to leave some comments about the prompts that we write, or ways that we can improve, or some ways that, yeah, again, just kind of how our prompt writing could be better, please leave those in the comments. It's always welcome.
Okay, great. With Perplexity, I would mention that I don't think our prompts need to be, I mean, you always want to be as sharp with your prompts as you can be. The more um, context and well worded, the more context you provide and the more well worded your prompt is, then
Right.
usually you get better results. Perplexity, though, since it's an answers engine, um, doesn't have quite as high a bar for that
Right.
as
Yeah.
things like ChatGPT do. But so um, let's what okay, so
Let's start with
I, I'll start
2024.
I'll start typing, and you correct me if I'm not representing what you
Sure.
just described to us. So these being ADHD about the capitalization, please provide overview of the, I'm just going to say top five.
Or keep it simple, and you do even do top three.
Okay. Impactful. Um, hacks and or data breaches in the financial industry
for 2024.
Oops. All right, should we start with that, or do you want to tag on to it and and an outlook for what the top threats may be that are emerging for financial?
Let's do that separately. Let's see what this comes up with, and that may kind of prompt some additional thought.
Yeah, Perplexity is quite nice, which we'll see in a second. Once it offers the response, it's also going to suggest some follow-up questions, and the follow-up questions suggested are usually pretty good quality.
There's the Loan Depot.
And also, if you're not familiar with Perplexity, you can choose in settings. I can show that later, but basically in settings you can choose a few different providers. This can be a ChatGPT model. ProSearch is actually Perplexity's own model. You can see it's showing us our sources, and these are clickable. So with almost any AI tool, we still like to verify what it's telling us to make sure that it's not making things up and providing us with inaccurate data that then we pass on to our colleagues and our bosses and embarrass ourselves.
Yeah, and again, always check those sources. Make sure you're familiar with at least 2 or 3 of the references that are given that are from verifiable sources.
Right. So it's given us Loan Depot ransomware, Ally Financial data breach, and Finastra data breach. You had mentioned Fidelity earlier on. So are we surprised that Fidelity
was not in the top 3? Well, did we specify top 3?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and again, these breaches may not have reported losses, monetary losses. So, yeah.
Okay. It is quantifying why it's picked these, I guess. This was a devastating one, affected 16.6 million customers' information.
Yep.
I don't quite see the numbers here. Potentially affecting billions of customers. Oh my.
And do they specify what vulnerability or attack was used, whether they were ransomware or social engineering?
This one tells us in the header.
Yep.
This one experienced a significant data breach. Incident was particularly so. This one doesn't sound like it's ransomware in particular. This guy, another data breach. So it looks like only one of the 3 was ransom. Looks like only one was ransomware, although the sum up here, these attacks demonstrate the ongoing and evolving cyber threats facing the financial sector in 2024, with ransomware, data breaches, and third-party vulns emerging. So this looks like it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, if we weren't trying to keep our podcast to a reasonable length so that people don't fall asleep, if they've been kind enough to get here, we may not do an awful lot of investigating of the sources at the moment. Although, in addition to listing them at the top, I will just note, I don't know how clear the screen is going to be for anyone, but there are links within the results as well. And they're numbered by the sort of list of the sources. And remember, there's more sources over here as well. I can show you those in the sidebar. So the ability to verify your links is certainly here.
Got it. And like you said, if we had more time, I would also kind of go through some of Perplexity's recommended additional bits of information.
Right. Some of these already, just to the naked eye, look pretty good. There's a Bloomberg entity here. Softbox is a big player in antivirus and
so we're familiar with those. Sure.
Same with SOC Radar. SOC Radar is one of the threat feeds that feeds into CISA. So at least a few of these look legit. And as I mentioned earlier, the suggested follow-up questions can be quite good.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was looking at. Yeah, because normally I would, like I said, if we had time, I would go through some of those follow-up questions.
I
just
think
to
you might
enhance
want
the
to
information.
look at this one because you were just
I
asking
was just going to
what the
say,
rents were.
let's hit it, and then we'll call it for Perplexity and move on to the other tools.
So again, Perplexity shows you that it's searching that. Now it's gathering detailed information. This is a little slower than I usually see it work.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Perplexity is all of a sudden having a server issue, and maybe we won't hang around for too long if that's the case. But
And that's fine.
yeah, I'm not sure I've ever seen Perplexity
There
sit
it
for this
goes.
long. Okay.
Maybe
I
a
don't know
little
what happened
busy.
there. Little hiccup. Again, sources shown here. You can click to show all.
And so how do you typically take the format here out of Perplexity, and what does that look like? Like if you were to
Yeah,
paste this into a Word doc or a notepad.
I tend to just my first effort is usually to try and copy directly from one generative AI tool to the other. So directly
Yeah.
from here to ChatGPT, for example, if we wanted to now brainstorm with ChatGPT about a report. If the formatting goes bananas when I do that, then I may go into a middle ground, something that's almost like Notepad is in Windows, where it just strips formatting. My equivalent here can be Mac Text Edit, or sometimes I just use the Obsidian Notes app. But we'll
and again, I do the same, and I just kind of brought that up for folks. Again, if you have a different method, please kind of leave that in the comments. But I will often do that, where I'll have to copy something into Notepad just to change formatting a little bit if I'm swapping between tools, between chat tools.
Yeah. The one thing that I would generally suggest people avoid, because it almost never gets, not just doesn't get a good result, but it usually gets no result, is if you try sharing a link. Like we could link to this Perplexity page. The other tool will almost invariably come back and say, not that it doesn't see the link, but it'll say it doesn't have access to the link, which makes sense because I'm using a paid copy of Perplexity.
Right.
So it requires a login. And even sometimes when it's a tool that doesn't require a login, these tools don't work as well with links generally as they do with copy and paste. So do you want to copy and paste the 3 biggest breaches, or do we more so want to talk about what are the tactics?
You know what? Let's do the tactics, and in the interest of time, let's take this and let's move on to ChatGPT and see if it can make a decent summary report, and let's do some 2025 predictions.
Okay. All right. So we will copy that just straight up, and again, we will see what ChatGPT, whether the format is going to be okay. So again, I'm going to grab a new chat. You can see I was previously talking to ChatGPT about just architecture in OT environments. I'm going to ignore the update available. So, okay, I'm just going to say, given the text from some research in Perplexity, and I got a misspelling there. And there again, below. Oops. About me. Create concise. I'm going to add the word concise. I kind of always do. I hope you're okay with that.
Yep.
Report on these.
I'll often say like refine or summarize, and then state like an audience, like executive summary, or refine for technical audience, or
Okay. And I want to say sorry to the financial industry, and then I want to give it I want to tell it who this report is for. So
absolutely, yeah.
So what do you want to say about that? To be presented to.
Just say, let's make it an executive summary.
Okay, to present it.
Present to leadership.
Okay, to a leadership team. Okay, or
Yeah.
our leadership team. I'll just say it.
That works.
Okay. All right. Oh crap! I didn't give it the below text.
It'll say, please share your, yeah, please share your text.
All right, I thought I was going to
Nice.
copy the prompt. Okay. All right. And in my view, you can sort of tell already this is going to be usable.
Yep. No, this format looks good because it's listing out all the various attacks, and yep, I like that.
And again, if you start to follow why people use generative AI tools, now again, always with the qualifier that you have to check the sources, you have to make sure
Right.
that they're not giving you inaccurate things and nonsense. But once you are comfortable with that piece of it, this was a matter of not very many seconds.
No, not at all. And what I find useful about this format is often you can ask it to tie these results to, I don't know, whatever specific cyber framework you might use. Like you can say, which NIST special publication can addresses these vulnerabilities or these threat vectors. So when you present that report, you can say, here's, the NIST standards that would address these, or the ISO 27000, or whatever framework you happen to use.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the flexibility and the speed are just such huge. They're so massively helpful because
Massively helpful.
it's so quick to spit that out. Now, even if you say that, 9 times out of 10, what it spits out is not going to be. I mean, you never want to present a
No.
100% AI written thing at work. You always want to take this,
tune and modify, and yeah, absolutely
use it as food for thought. But what I mean is, even if this is not really going in the directions you want, it's so fast to tell this, oh, please do this again. I want more detail about
absolutely
social engineering attacks in particular.
Yeah.
Or I want more on credential theft. And again, it's going to be 10 seconds or less, and you're going to have your modified report. So I think scrolling through this quickly, this is probably a good enough outline so that you can work with this and carry on.
Absolutely. And I tell you what, Patrick, in the interest of time, since we got a couple of minutes left, let's see if it can maybe use these results and then tie in predictions for 2025.
Okay. I have one other suggestion if time allows.
Of course. Yeah.
I like to use both ChatGPT and Claude, because sometimes
perfect. Let's see what
one
Claude
will have a better answer than the other, or sometimes you'll chop a few things out of one and chop a few things out of the other, and then apply your own wording because they've each contributed different things of value. So let's take exactly the same prompt, and this time I will remember, I hope, to give it the text at the same time. Again, I need a new chat. I'm not going to hit go yet.
Let's take that. So you're taking our original result from Perplexity.
Yeah, I'm just basically giving the same.
Kind of compare these two. Yeah.
Yeah, making the same request to Claude as we just did to ChatGPT.
Yep.
And again, I don't know if anybody wants to be counting, but that wasn't too many seconds. And here's our report.
No. And again, this already looks good.
And you see there's style differences, right? Yes. Claude is already shorter, and in some ways,
and concise. Yeah.
I think, just again, at a very quick glance, I may prefer Claude. It's shorter.
I was just going to say, I wouldn't have a problem presenting this to a leadership team.
And I really like that Claude is thinking like a cybersecurity person.
Yes. Yeah.
Even the section titles, key threat vectors,
Yeah.
is a great section title. Immediate recommendations is something you always want to have in your pocket.
Always.
If you're talking to leadership and wanting a meeting to result in actions, and strategic considerations.
That's a good one as well.
And again, we may not use 100% of this. We may not use 60% of this, but that took 3 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And you can copy straight out of here. You can share this and so forth. But I think, I may stop sharing at this point and we wanted to ask about 2025.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and my thoughts there is, what if we take the report output?
I think you don't even need to do that. I think we can get, if we agree that Claude may have the slightly better result.
I think so. Let's stay here.
Let's just ask Claude. Okay, given the above,
and say create a section for a 2025 threat landscape outlook.
Please create an additional section providing. Oops. I apologize for my loud typing of the 2025
emerging threat landscape.
Emerging. Okay. Emerging.
Yeah, throw emerging in there, so it'll kind of look for those kind of predictions and what experts may see coming around the corner.
I'm going to still remind it that we're still staying in the financial industry.
Yeah.
And I think Claude will do a quite a good job based on all my previous.
Let's see what we've got.
Claude.
Again, quick.
It lets you know
some emerging trends. Yeah.
And it lets you know its limitations. Its knowledge stop. It told us right at the top. My knowledge cutoff is April 2024. Now, ChatGPT will be up to the moment, so that could have.
That could be it. Yeah.
At this point, you might go back to ChatGPT if we were playing this all the way through. But again, Claude has done a good job. I mean, I am just curious. Claude can be very good at visualizing things on the fly. Visualize the 2024 versus 2025. And it may not. Sometimes this can be a hit and sometimes it can be a miss. It's always kind of cool watching it in the sidebar.
Yeah, it is.
Doing the coding for and that's going to be a miss. Like we can tell already that's just far too small. But anyway, so I have a feeling we can probably stop here. This is
absolutely. This has been nicely done. And again, anybody listening, if you want to put in the comments how we might have improved or made our either prompts or results more efficient, please let us know. I'm always open to working smarter and not harder. Thanks for doing this, Patrick. This has been great.
Of course. Thank you for you came up with the theme of this and the idea and what we were going to ask these tools to do today, which I thought was really, really good one. That's another thing, for pretending that there's anyone tuning in here at all. If you have another cybersecurity topic that you feel might be interesting to do the same sort of run through with, or even just focusing in with ChatGPT, for instance, you can just have a long, continuous conversation on a topic. So basically, if you have a cybersecurity topic that you'd like to see how to work on it from a brainstorming aspect, from a research aspect, and so on down the line, definitely share in the comments, and we'll do our best to have a crack at that.
Excellent. This was great, Patrick. Thanks for hosting.
All right.